What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing a very, very powerful and profound technique that I learned when I was going through my life coach certification. And I've used this process now over the years in relationship coaching, dating coaching, and just general life coaching, where people feel stuck in life, or they have issues with addictions, they feel unhappy. So, this tool that I'm going to be sharing in this video can be used universally. I mean, it affects every part of human behavior. It affects every part of why we do what we do, what creates the patterns that drive us, why we're drawn to things, why we're drawn to certain people, why we create addictions and form habits and obsessions. And once you learn this, this process, and you come to understand basically one of the major driving forces of why you do the things you do in terms of human behavior, you can transform your life. And so obviously going to save the video to do all the explaining for you, but I just wanted to introduce it. This was taken during a presentation, so it's a little on the longer side because I go semi-deep into the process and explaining everything, how it works, and of course, if you'd like to follow along, if you'd like to have something to write with, I highly recommend it, because you will need it if you actually want to benefit from this. So, in my opinion, don't just listen to things. Information does not lead to transformation. Participate, right? Play full out, participate, and if you participate and you learn alongside the video, the presentation I'll be sharing in this video rather, then I promise you your life can and will change, or your relationships, or any part of your life, essentially, okay? So let's get to the video. Two things that this is intended for tonight. The first thing that I wanted to show you guys is I just wanted to give you guys a taste of the types of things that you can expect in the group. So I'm just demonstrating a very, very small taste of the types of things that you guys can experience coming up in this group. The second thing I'm doing tonight is I'm out here with all of you, just in the general community. I want to teach you guys something that if you apply this to your life going into 2025, and if you learn nothing else, please hear me. If you learn nothing else in 2025, the entire year of 2025, if you learn nothing else, maybe if you learn nothing else even the rest of your life, and I'm not saying there's not a lot of things in life that are valuable to learn, but if you learn this one tool, it will transform and change your life, because it's universal. It applies to you, it applies to everybody, and it's the underpinning of all human behavior. It's why we do anything that we do. It's why you're motivated to do the things that you do. It's why the people around you are motivated to do the things that they do. The people that you attract, why you're attracted to them, why things work out with in relationships with those people, why things don't work out, why people have negative patterns, why people do bad things, why people end up in addictions. Like, this one thing I'm about to teach you guys explains all of that. Okay? And so it's what you're going to want to do, if I were you, is you're going to want to get something to write with in case you want to make your own notes. And I'm just going to take you guys through this. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but, I'm going to teach you this. And I've got some resources I'm going to drop into the chat. And then once we're done, once I'm done with this presentation of sharing this with you guys, I'll be spending the rest of my time obviously here to do readings, et cetera, et cetera. So last thing for me before we jump into the presentation, for those of you that, you just came here for a reading, you're like, look, I'm not interested in all this other shit you're talking about. Cool, no problem, no harm, no foul from me. Come back in like 30 minutes. And I should be, hopefully, by, in the next 30 minutes, I should be done with the presentation. I should be doing readings by then, or come back in an hour if you want, because I'll be here until maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. It's about 2 minutes 2 minutes to 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in Eastern time. And I'll be on tonight until 1 or 2 in the morning. 2 p.m. will be my cutoff date no matter what. Because I have to drive tomorrow. I have to sleep, obviously, to drive. So I've got a, I've got a hard cutoff time tonight for sure. But I will be here until 2. So if you guys want to come back, you don't want to stick around for this, I hope that you do, because again, this is free. People pay me a lot of money to learn this stuff. You get the opportunity to learn this for free. And if you learn this, I promise you, I guarantee you, it'll change your life if you apply it, right? But if you're not, no problems, no worries, no harm, no foul. Come back 30 minutes, come back in an hour. I should be doing readings, and you can come get a reading, okay? So for those of you that are here and you want to stick around, I'm just going to dive straight in. All right, let me get my slides figured out here. My buttons. Here we go. All right, so still got to figure out my buttons. All right, so I'm going to be teaching you guys something called the 6 human needs. All right, so all humans, and let me get my links dropping in here. Let me drop my links. Also, I know a lot's happening in the chat. I just want to quickly just say hello to everybody. If you're joining in, I haven't engaged with you guys because I got to keep the train moving here. But for all of those that are just joining in, appreciate you guys all being here. If you're new to my channel and you don't know me, my name is Eddie Gilman with Imagine Life Development Center. Welcome to my tarot channel. And, if you like the content, I would also appreciate your support. You can like, you can subscribe, or, you hate it, you don't have to, right? No harm, no foul. The other information you need to know is in the description box below. I do see Jean in the chat. Jean is my amazing moderator. This woman is an absolute godsend. So anytime I see Jean in the chat, I have an instantaneous sense of relief because I know that she's keeping all that under wraps for me. So, she's my chat mod. So anyways, I just wanted to say hi to all you guys out there. If I haven't said hello, just so you guys know that I'm not ignoring you guys. It's just hard to stay focused and read the chats because I'll get distracted. Okay, so I'm gonna drop a link in the chat for you guys, and this link that I'm about to drop in the chat will take you to my Google Drive. It's a safe link, okay, and you can download a copy of some of the information I'm sharing with you completely free. Okay, it's a free download. So I'm going to drop the link, Google Drive. It'll take you there, and you can download some information here. So, and you guys can download this. You can keep it. Okay. So, what are the 6 human needs? The 6 human needs are all of us humans. We all have 6 needs that we all have to meet. This comes from basically for some of you, you may know this person, you may not know this person. It comes from, the background is human needs psychology, and it comes from the innovators of this are Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins, like the life coach guru guy, and Chloe Madanis. Now, a lot of people think that Tony Robbins is just a motivational speaker, right? And they're not really familiar with the real type of work that he does. He's kind of interesting. Like he didn't go to school and he didn't get an actual certified background, but he studied psychology, and all these, he read like 700 books and studied psychology. And then he just went out on his own. And basically in his early days, like way back, in the early 80s, he basically was just, to get his, to start his business, essentially, he told people, like, send me the worst people. Send me the people that you can't fix. They've been coming to therapy for years and years and years. These people have phobias, they have addictions, they have problems, and they're just, basically unfixable people. I know that's not a word. And so he would get all these people who apparently had problems that could not be solved, or they had lifelong phobias or addictions and all these things. and he was changing them. And he would do it within like an hour or less. And so he started promoting himself. He said, I will, whatever problem you have, I will fix you in an hour or less. And he was very confident. And so over the years, he became well known for, basically leading people through a very strategic process of intervention of helping people get very quick, rapid changes. And so one of the things that he realized, and as he partnered up with a very, very famous psychologist named Chloe Medanis, what he realized is that all humans, every one of us, has 6 fundamental needs that we have to meet. These are not wants, they're not maybes, they're needs. And we're meeting these needs all the time. You're meeting these needs all the time. I'm getting these needs met all the time. Every single one of us is meeting these needs all the time, whether you know it or not. Okay. So that's just kind of giving you guys a little bit of an introduction here. So now the next part of the slide that I have here, all right, I need to be on buttons 2 and 3, is what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this, again, is for you guys to learn how to become powerful people, right? Which is the Magician card. The Magician card is you. It's why it's the first stop in the major arcana, or the Fool's Journey, or again, going back to Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey, right? It's the same thing. The hero's journey, Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, and the 22 major arcanas in tarot are the same thing. The Fool's Journey and the major arcana, the word arcana just means mysteries. So the major mysteries of the evolution and progression of the soul. The Fool card in the major arcana is the 0 card for a reason. The Fool represents God, source, the universe, the soul, the nothingness, the great nothingness, right? It's infinite possibilities. It's the freedom. It's consciousness, basically. That's what the Fool card really is. It just represents just base consciousness. Nothing has happened. Nothing has taken form yet. You're just in a spiritual conscious form. Now, the first step, the reason that the Magician card here, the reason that the Magician card is the first card, the official number 1 card, which you guys can see up here at the top, right up here above his head, that number 1 is meaning the first step of human consciousness. In other words, the soul has entered the body at this point. The soul has inhabited the body, and now it's up to us to understand the world from which we operate in, which has to do with the 5 elements. Okay. Now, if I go back here, and I'm going to make this make sense. What does this have to do with the human needs? I'm about to tell you. So just stick with me here. So here you have the 4 elements. You have the wands, which are passion, inspiration, spirituality, motivation. You have the swords, which have to do with the mind, the intellect, communication. You have the cups, which have to do with feelings and emotions. And you have the pentacle, which represents anything in the material world. Anything tangible that you can put your hands on is represented. It's not just money. It represents anything. Up here, you have essentially, now, it's hard to explain, but if I was to take the tree of life in Kabbalah and impose it behind the this magician, and when I say the Kabbalah tree of life, some of you guys know it looks like this weird diamond thing. Maybe you're familiar with it. Maybe you're not. You don't have to be. But if I was to impose it behind the magician, you would see that this wand represents 1 pillar. And then over here, he's pointing, and this hand would exist in the 2nd pillar. And so what the magician is basically implying here, you don't see it on the card, but I'm just gonna show it to you really quick. I got to get the right deck to show you. Let me get. We see this. You'll see this all throughout tarot. It's a common image. You'll see it on the High Priestess. You'll see it on the Hierophant. You'll see it on Justice. You see it all over the place in the major arcana. You have the 2 pillars. And one of the pillars is the pillar of light, and the other is a pillar of dark. And the reason for these pillars, yeah, I got the card right here. I'll flip this back over here. Yeah. So you have this. You have the pillar of light, and you have this pillar of darkness, and what you don't see behind the high priestess herself is that the tree of life of Kabbalah. You can see it kind of outlined behind her here a little bit, but she's sitting in front of it. And so when you study spirituality, you understand that the pillar of light is the things that exist in the conscious world, the things that we can see. This has to do with our external consciousness, the things that are known to us. The black pillar has to do with the subconscious, the things that are not known, right? The light and the dark. The middle path, if you guys are familiar with spirituality, this is the middle path. You are the middle path. Essentially, it's up to us to learn from both of these pillars and integrate both the light and the dark duality, the dualistic nature of reality, one of the Hermetic principles, into understanding who we are and what we are. Right? So there's a ton of symbolism in this card. This one card alone, which is why it's also the second. So the Magician is the first card. This is the second card. The Magician is the white pillar. The High Priestess is the black pillar. And this is another theme in the major arcana, because the Magician represents the external world, our power in the external world. We are the ones who master the four elements. We master the four elements and then apply the fifth element, which is the pinnacle. The pinnacle, or the star, represents spirit. And so anytime you see this this infinity sign, and I'll give you guys another example of this, the Strength card. You see, we have the same person. The Magician, at this stage, at card 8 in the major arcana, the Magician is now represented by this feminine figure, and you see the infinity sign above her head again. Anytime you see that infinity sign, that symbol is referring to the fifth element, the element of spirit, right? That's what the fifth element is. The fifth element is the element of spirit. The four elements are the elements that we work with in the body and in the world. The fifth element is consciousness, or the Fool. The Fool is the infinity sign, right? The Fool card is essentially that infinity symbol. It's the soul. That's what that's representing. Now I'm going to show you guys something to make this just a little bit more on this side, because it's going to help you guys understand how spirituality and human behavior coexist. Because if I just teach you the human behavior, that's fine. But I want to teach you guys something. I want to teach you how spirituality and human behavior coexist in this way, so that you can get the most out of this. Because you're not just a human being, you're a spiritual being, right? And these two things, again, coexist because, again, of having to do with the white pillar and the black pillar. So when you're dealing with just psychology, you're dealing with just the white pillar. That's just psychology. That's just the mind and human behavior, the physical stuff, the external world. And that's the world that we live in most of the time. We're troubleshooting our problems by treating symptoms. We're not troubleshooting the problems by treating the cause. Spirituality, true spirituality, is about... I need to get my shit together here. That's what I need to do. True spirituality is about understanding these two pillars. Yeah, there we go. I need that card, I need that card, I need that card, any other card that I need. I need the pinnacle. Give me the pinnacle, and I think I should be not distracted with this. I wasn't No. There we go. I'll take that one too. Maybe that one. Yep, definitely the Chariot. We'll take that one. I'm just going to give you some quick examples. There's the Pentacle, and then I just need the Sun. The Sun was back here. There we go. All right. So, all right, now I'm gonna switch the camera here, and I'm gonna break this down. Let me get to where are we at here? Yeah. All right. So now we're at the table. So let me show you guys. So we have the Magician here. Right now, on the Tree of Life, it's not the same here, but on the Tree of Life, the white pillar would be on the left and the black pillar would be on the right. So this white wand that he's holding up would be over here on the white pillar, and his finger would be pointing down to the black pillar, because the reason that the Magician is pointing down is saying the subconscious, right? And he's also saying, yes, as above, so below. Yes, all that stuff is true, but he's pointing to the dualistic nature of consciousness, what we can perceive out here in the external world, versus the subconscious, what we can't perceive, which is beneath us, right? So there's that. Now, here's the Pentacle. I just wanted to show you guys. The Pentacle represents the 5 elements. So you have the 4 elements that are on the Magician's table by these points, the 4 points. And then the 5th element, the star pointing up, the highest point of the star is the 5th element, spirit, right? So the point of the star, if I get the Magician card here and the Pentacle, that right there, the infinity symbol is the point of the Pentacle, showing that you are connected to spirit, right? Now, conversely, well, before I get to that, so let's just put that there. So again, I just want to show you guys this, a few other examples. So this is the white pillar, going back to the High Priestess. There's the white pillar. The things that are known, consciousness. There's the Sun, the things that are known, consciousness. And then the Moon, again, the realm of duality, right? So let me see if I can hold these all together. And there's the Moon, the black pillar on the left side there. So again, and that's just how everything goes. The entire length of the major arcana, or the soul's journey, you'll see this. You'll see, again, the Magician, he's the first card, the first stop. The Fool is the 0 card. The Fool has taken form and become us in the human body. So here we are. This is us living in our world, right? We're the Magician, and the High Priestess is our subconscious. The High Priestess is, basically the other part of our soul, because our spirit and our soul is, made up this infinity sign. That's why it's a circle. Half of that circle represents the conscious. The other half of that circle represents the subconscious. So if I were to basically draw an infinity sign, see if I can do this, hold this card. If I was able to draw an infinity sign through these pillars, that's what's happening. So one half of us, one half of the infinity circle is consciousness. The other half of the infinity is the subconscious. So our spirit, our soul, the Fool card, is that infinity symbol. The Fool is the embodiment of the conscious and the subconscious, the light and the dark. It's duality. So anytime you see the yin and yang symbol, the famous yin and yang, that's the Fool. The energy of the Fool is best depicted and described as the yin and yang. And so as you continue to go on the Fool's journey, the journey of the soul, you'll see all these, you get to the Hierophant, you see the 2 pillars show up again. When you get to the Chariot, look, you got the same kind of thing going on again. You got the white Sphinx, you got the dark Sphinx. So, and then you have the same thing when you get to the Justice card. You see this continuating theme of basically there's a light and there's a dark, and there's another force. There's always a third force, involved. There's one pillar, there's the second pillar, and here's the third force, which is you, the self, right? In other words, the body, the avatar, consciousness, your free will. You're the third force involved in this. The same thing here. There's one side of consciousness, there's the other side of consciousness, and there's the third force. There you are. If we go to the Magician card, there's not two pillars, but essentially that's what the reason we started the Magician is because to tell you that you are you're the manager of the forces. You're the person who's determining how life is created here, right? And so what'll happen eventually, I'm going to show you guys this really quick too, because this will come out a lot. Let's go to the Devil here. And also, let's go to, I thought I didn't need this last card. We're going to get to, the Lovers. I'm going to show you this. So again, the same concept. I'm going to show it to you, show you this. Same concept. With the Devil and the Lovers card. So we have the High Priestess. So again, you got the white pillar, consciousness. You have the Lovers. Connected to spirit, connected to consciousness, understanding. You have the black pillar, the subconscious. The Devil represents the shadow self. Right? And so over here in the Lovers card, let me put this one down. When we are connected to our spiritual source, we're connected to our power. What you're seeing here, these are the two pillars represented on the Lovers card. The male and the female are the same two pillars that are here. This pillar and this pillar are now represented by the male and the female, meaning the masculine and feminine, the duality of spirit, right? And in the Lovers card specifically, it's referring to masculine energy and feminine energy, whereas in the High Priestess card, it's referring to conscious and subconscious, right? It's the same concept, but we're just working with a different part of ourselves. So here you have masculine and feminine. And then remember what I said, there's always that third entity, that third person, which is us. And here, the third person in the picture is your divine self, God, source, the universe, your highest self, right? Which again is the Fool. This person up here, this angel in the Lovers card is still the Fool. It's the soul inside of you, because inside of you, your soul is still connected to your highest self. Now, we don't always operate out of our highest selves all the time because we have free will. And that's the whole purpose of the Magician card is to tell you, you get to decide. It's up to you to decide your reality. Do you want to work out of the pillar of light? Do you want to work out of the pillar of darkness? Going back to the Devil, let's look at the other side of it, right? So again, let's just really quick review. So the pillar of the white pillar, Lovers card. Black pillar, the Devil card. Now, the Devil is not an entity, just like the Lovers isn't an angel, isn't God. It's who you become as a result of which side of the energy that you're most connected to or disconnected to. The more that you're connected to God's source, your spiritual self, whatever you call that force for you, then you spiritually awaken, you enter higher vibrations, the world becomes more available to you. You become basically a master Jedi. You start leveling up your powers. You start learning things. You start realizing, you start to see the result of the power that you have as a magician to literally create and manifest in the universe, the actual tangible world. People do this all the time. They call it the law of attraction, they this, that, and the other, and all the different things. And all of a sudden you start to realize, oh my God, I literally can create the reality that I want. Yes, you can. But that creation only happens the more that you stay connected to this part of your energy. Now, we live in duality. We're not going to do it perfectly all the time. Now, for those, because energy has to be in balance. There is a balance that happens. Just like there's daytime and there's nighttime, right? There's what's called esoteric spirituality and exoteric spirituality. The exoteric spirituality is what everyone's familiar with. It's the things outside of us, like external astrology and numerology, and predicting and all that kind of stuff. Anything that has to do with things occurring outside of you is exoteric knowledge, right? Esoteric, ESO, esoteric knowledge is inner, meaning if you get a book on inner astrology, then that will tell you how to transform yourself. It's a totally different type of information and knowledge, and the way that you apply that knowledge to yourself to create transformation, right? So that's a side note. But anyways, for those of you who get out of balance, or for those of us who get out of balance, the first thing on the devil card I want you to pay attention to is notice that the star is pointing down. The tip of the star is pointing down. It's the same 5 elements. The same 5 elements represented by these points, but the 5th element was spirit. It's pointing downward. And there's a reason for that. It's saying the more disconnected from your spiritual self you become, then the more that you will turn into this guy. You will become the devil. So people that you think are toxic, they're unhealthy, and there's levels to this stuff, right? For some of us, it could just turn out that, well, I'm depressed a lot, right? And then depression becomes anger, and then anger becomes violence, and then violence becomes hate, and then hate becomes rage, and then you become, a murderer or a rapist or a killer or a child molester or an abuser, right? Everything starts small. Devil energy, because there's levels of it, right? Just like on the other side with the lovers, when you start on your healing journey and you start going through your spiritual awakening, right? You don't go from 0 to 100. That's why there's 22 steps in the Fool's Journey. The entire Fool's Journey is to teach us all of this. It's literally a roadmap to teach us how to achieve spiritual awakening, basically. And so even if you just took the 22 major arcanas and you studied that in tarot, it's basically there to teach you and show you how to grow and how to evolve into the highest and best version of yourself, right? But, tarot has turned into, this predictive gimmick, and it can be used for that. It's a good tool for predicting outcomes because, everything is energy. So this is just a medium in predicting energy, and it works very well for that. But the intention of this tool was not to predict outcomes. The intention of this tool when it was created was for you to basically know how to do spiritual therapy on oneself. It's for you to sit with you and go, hey, I'm not achieving, I'm not achieving my power. I'm not being the magician. I'm not being the magician. I'm not owning my power, right? I'm not being the magician. And so what tarot, the power and the beauty of this tool is to teach us how to become the magician so that we can take our power back, know what needs to change within us so that we can actually get what we want, right? So the purpose of this presentation is one of the elements, one of the aspects of this presentation is to teach you guys how to become the magician. And as I move forward on this channel from time to time, more so in the group that I mentioned before, that I will be doing with my friend Trudy, I'll be, sharing a lot more of this stuff in the group. So my tarot channel, I'll share this stuff from time to time with you guys just to keep you interested, because again, using tarot just as a predictive tool is promoting more powerlessness because it's not going to help you. It's not going to change anything. You're just going to be sitting there waiting, wondering what's going to happen. What does this person think about me and blah, 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 blah. Instead of you taking your power and becoming the magician so that you can just create, you can bypass all the bullshit. You can bypass the frustration. You can bypass the time gap. You can take control of your life. You can become a powerful person because you, me, everybody is the magician. We all have all the tools and resources and the power available to us to create our reality. It's just, if we don't know how to access that power, then of course we're going to be limited in our ability to use it. So one of the things that I'm teaching you with this tool as here, the 6 human needs is, this is one of these tools. This is going to help you guys become the magician. It's going to help you become a practical psychologist and learn how to troubleshoot your life. And if you learn this and you apply it to your life, it's a complete game changer. Okay. So I already mentioned this a little bit. So where did this come from? It's a concept developed by Tony Robbins, Chloe Madonis, it's integral part of human needs psychology, blah, blah, blah. We talked about that. Go to the next slide here. So how does it work? So we value different needs. We gravitate towards 2 needs over others out of the 6, which I'll be explaining to you in just a moment. Someone who values certainty and significance will have an entirely different quality and experience of life than someone who values contribution and love. And that's just an example. And I'll be, obviously, this just really quick. You're like, well, what are the 6 needs? The first need is the need for certainty. We all have a need for certainty. And if you downloaded the link, the PDF, the free PDF in the link that I dropped into the chat, which I'll drop into the chat again really quick. There it is. You can grab it. You'll see on the PDF, there is the first need is certainty, right? The second need, we can't have just certainty all the time because then life would be boring. So we have a need for uncertainty or variety is the second need. The third need is the need for significance. We all have a need to feel special, unique, valuable, and important. The fourth need is for connection/love. Most people settle for connection because connection is less risky. You can get connection very easily. You can connect with just about anything. You can buy a pet to have connection. You can have you can have a teddy bear and get connection. You can get connection from anything. You can get connection by masturbating. You can get connection by watching movies. You can get connection by eating food. You can get connections by drinking, smoking. You can get connection just tons of different ways. Whereas love is something different. True love is something different. Love comes with a risk. There's risk involved in love. It requires courage, requires intimacy, vulnerability. I'm not talking about superficial love because superficial love would fall under the category of connection. So those are the first 4 needs, or what we call the needs of the person, our personality, right? Or our primal needs, basically. Now, the last 2 needs are what we consider spiritual needs. And the first spiritual need is growth, because we all either grow, evolve, expand, or we die. It's contraction, expansion or contraction, right? And so growth is a necessary part of life. And then the last need, the 6th need, is for contribution. We all have a need to contribute to something beyond ourselves or to a greater cause or just something that's greater than ourselves, right? So those are that's the quick overview of what those 6 needs are. So again, we value, out of the 6 needs, we will value 2 needs over others. We have a tendency out of the 6 to value 2 of those needs more than others. And how we got there, in other words, what shaped us or influenced us rather into choosing those 2 needs was something probably subconscious, because obviously you didn't know that these 6 needs existed. And yet you still are predisposed to 2 of those, to meeting or gravitating to 2 of those needs over the others. And those top 2 important needs are the most important ones for you, right? And so typically for most people, things that happen in your life influence and shape which 2 needs that you're basically, even right now, as you're listening to this, you're listening to my voice, you have 2 primary needs that you're seeking to meet at all times. And it doesn't mean that those other 4 needs you're not meeting, because again, these are needs. You're going to meet all 6 no matter what. It's just that we have a tendency to gravitate and focus specifically on 2 more than other ones. And this is how this, and as I continue to explain this, this is how the power of this tool will become known to you. You'll start to realize, like, oh my God, it'll start to make sense to you why that's important to know, why it is important for you to know that The two needs that you gravitate towards are basically empowering you or disempowering you, helping you or causing you harm. And then as you begin to explore your life and your patterns and why you're getting the results that you want or why you're not getting the results that you want out of life, you'll start to see, oh, it's because I was focused on these two needs and it was disempowering me, right? And so, again, we have a tendency to value two needs over the others. And so again, just as an example, someone who values certainty and significance will have a totally different life and a totally different experience in life than someone who values contribution and love. The needs that we value most determine how we function and how fulfilled we become. How we meet our needs is paramount. So the question becomes this: are we meeting our needs in ways that are obtainable, or are we meeting our needs in ways that are sustainable? And that's a very important distinction to make, because just because something is obtainable doesn't mean it's good for you. Doesn't mean it's going to empower you. Is it something that's sustainable, right? And so the next question is, how do you know? Well, is it good for you and good for others? Meaning it's a sustainable need. Or is it obtainable, which might mean that it's bad for you and bad for others? So just two very basic questions right out of the gate that you can ask, or at least you can write those questions down. And as we move through the slides, you can go back and, you can basically, again, you can be your own therapist here. You can be a practical psychologist, and you can self-analyze, and you can do this work to understand yourself. And once you do it for you, you'll start to see it in everybody else. You'll start seeing it in your friends, your family members, your coworkers. You'll start to see, oh my gosh, they're just trying to meet their needs for this and this and this. Oh my gosh, that person behaves the way that they behave probably because they're focused on this need and this need, right? So, let me back. Yeah. So I'm going to go through all 6 needs now, and then you can also follow on the PDF if you download it. But really quick, I also wanted to just mention anything that meets at least 3 of your human needs, anything, will become an addiction. Anything that meets all 6 of your human needs will become an obsession. So if you want to know why people become addicted to cigarettes, addicted to porn, addicted to drugs, addicted to whatever, it's because whatever that addiction is meeting at least 3 of their needs. And 2 of the 3 will be their top 2. And then you have people that are completely, absolutely obsessed with something. It's because whatever that something is meeting all 6 of their needs at high levels. And what do I mean by that? At high levels? Well, as we go through the slide, I'm going to teach you guys how to just do a very simple way to grade and rate yourself. It's just from 0 to 10, where 1 or 0 means nothing. It doesn't meet my need. It's not important to me at all. I don't care about it. 10 is I can't live without it. I have to have it. I can't live without it, right? And so you're going to learn how to grade yourself. You're going to go from each need. I'm skipping ahead a little bit here, but it's we're going to get to it in the slides. But I'm just helping you guys understand kind of where we're going with this. You're going to be able to grade yourself from 1 to 10, and you'll be able to use this tool in your life. Very simple process, nothing crazy here. And you'll be able to look at other people's lives, and you'll be able to start to connect dots and go, okay, well, now I understand why, that person is addicted to something. I understand why that person is having a really hard time breaking out of that pattern. I understand why maybe I've been attracting the same types of relationships again and again and again to my life. Why do I keep attracting the same type of people into my life? Well, all that information, believe it or not, all that information can be known from learning this system. So, you guys can, if you downloaded the PDF from my Google Drive, you'll see the first need for certainty there. Otherwise, if you didn't download it or you're just listening and you don't have a device or something, you can stop and read. That's no problem. Just listen. I'll explain everything. You don't have to have the document. Okay. So the first need, again, is the need for certainty. So the first human need is certainty, which is the ability, the primary driver behind the need of certainty is to avoid pain and obtain pleasure when possible. So we'll do more to avoid pain than we will to gain pleasure. That is a psychological fact. You, me, everybody, we will do far more to avoid pain than we will to gain pleasure. That is the need, the inherent need of certainty. So we can obtain certainty by eating, smoking, drugs, sex, anger, violence. We can obtain certainty through resilience, faith, God, religion, success. And certainty-driven people rarely take risks. They stay in their comfort zones and often suffer from boredom or purpose depression because they're not taking any risks in life. They're not stepping out of their comfort zone. They're not growing. They're not expanding. You know, if your top need is certainty, then you're basically just living in a shell, living bunkered down. You know, you're afraid to take risk. You're afraid of what's going to happen. You're afraid to get into a relationship. You're afraid to get your heart broken. You're afraid to get hurt. You're afraid to take risks, right? It's a very, very fearful life where there's no risk taking. There's no chances. Yes, you know, you'll feel protected and you'll feel safe. You'll have a degree of certainty, a degree or the illusion of safety, because certainty in itself is an illusion. There's no such thing as certainty. Are you absolutely certain that you're not going to die tomorrow? Are you absolutely certain that the person that you're in love with, whether it's a partner, or whether it's a wife, a husband, whether it's a child, whether it's a pet, whether it's a family member, are you absolutely certain that you know that they're not going to drop dead tomorrow? Are we certain that, you know, some crazy bastard in some other country could press the nuclear button and launch nuclear war and all of a sudden the whole world blows up? We have zero certainty. We don't know shit. Certainty actually is an illusion, but it's still necessary. It's still a need, because there's a part of us that again, it needs to know that at some point, to some extent, that we can obtain security and certainty when necessary. But again, is it obtainable or is it sustainable? Right? And so when you're out of balance, again, going back to the magician card here, because again, all this is pointing back to the magician card. Everything that I'm talking about, by the way, this whole presentation is going to continue going back to the magician, right? Are you being a powerful person, or are you being a powerless person? That's what all this is about. Are you being a powerful person, or are you being a powerless person, right? So over here, I'm just showing you an example, an archetype here with the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles energy is a great example of somebody who has certainty, or what I call certainty sickness. When you're out of balance and your primary focus in life is certainty no matter what, then you're going to have what I call certainty sickness. And people who have certainty sickness are basically very miserable people because they're not taking any risks. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to lose. They don't want to fail. They're just living in, they're letting life basically just pass them by. They're just like this person in the Four of Pentacles here. You're just sitting here waiting to die. And sure, you might die without, you know, with less broken arms, with less broken hearts, with less loss, with less tragedy. You might avoid some of that. I'm not going to lie to you and say that if you just focus on certainty your entire life, that you'll avoid maybe a lot of pain. Because that's the whole purpose of certainty is to avoid pain. And you might do so. But at what cost? Are you willing to trade and sacrifice your fulfillment to just simply avoid pain? Is that being a powerful person, or is that being a powerless person, right? So the second need is the need for variety. Well, actually, I'm going to read this from the I'm going to step back just really, really quick to certainty really quick. And I'm going to read from the PDF because this is very powerful. So it says your beliefs. So you're a certainty-driven person. This is what your beliefs would be. I need to feel secure, safe, and comfortable, and I need to make sure that I will be secure, safe, and comfortable in the future. Avoiding pain is very important to me. I can't be happy when I'm uncertain about things. When I don't feel like I'm in control of everything going on in my life, I hate it. How does this belief serve you? I avoid risks. I carefully plan for the future. I'm careful and I take care of myself and people I know. And predictable are predictable. I know how to be organized. The principles you lost sight of. The future is unpredictable. all we have is the present moment. That's true, right? Well, certainty is an illusion. Where there is no risk, there is no gain. It is possible to be uncertain about the future, yet be happy in the present. The consequences of losing sight of this: I limit my new experiences. I have trouble letting love flow when I don't feel secure and comfortable. This is very, very, very true, by the way, when it comes to relationships. If you're certainty sick and certainty is your primary driving need, it's going to be very difficult for you to find love and to keep love in your life. And I deal with this all of the time in helping people in relationship coaching. This is why I'm teaching you guys this tool, because this tool that I'm teaching you guys is one of the very first things that I teach all of my coaching customers, especially when it comes to relationships. Because when you map out how you're getting your needs met and which needs are your top two most important ones, then you start to realize where all of your issues are when it comes to your relationships. Because you're like, oh my God, I get it now. No wonder why I can't keep people in my life. No wonder why I attract certain people in my life, because I'm certainty sick. And there's different cause and effect for each one of these. Like if I flip the role, and let's say your top need wasn't certainty, let's say your top need is significance, which we're going to get to in a second, then the outcome of your relationship is going to take on an entirely different tone. The issues and the challenges that you have as a significance-driven person versus a certainty-driven person are black and white, two totally different experiences, right? You think about it like a phone number. If you give me your phone number, those phone numbers are in a specific order. They're arranged in a specific order. I can take the same set of numbers and rearrange the order, but I'm going to call a totally different place, right? That's why the order matters. The importance of this matters for that reason. Okay. So it's not just like, well, it's all the same, somebody whose top need is significance and somebody's whose second need is certainty. That's going to be the same, the same as somebody whose top need is certainty and their second need is significance. Just those two needs right there being flip-flopped. It doesn't sound like they would make that big of a difference, but it's a astronomical difference. Okay, that's how important this stuff is, right? So the principles that people in certainty have lost sight of. The future is unpredictable. All we have is the present moment. Where there's no risk, there is no gain. It is possible to be uncertain about the future, happy in the present. The consequences of losing sight of this principle: I limit my new experiences. I have trouble letting love flow when I don't feel secure and comfortable. I have trouble involving myself with people for fear that they will cause me pain. And people sometimes think that I'm controlling. I may seem unenthusiastic and even boring. I am predictable at the cost of being spontaneous. And then you can get if you download the PDF, it'll tell you, there's other stuff. I'm not going to go through all of it. It'll take forever. So there's a lot of other things you can read there. It'll tell you how to grow, how to balance it. It'll give you characteristics. There's a lot of stuff in this PDF for that. Okay. So second need is for uncertainty or variety. Okay. This is the second need. We can't just live in certainty forever. We also have to have uncertainty or variety, because otherwise life would be boring. So the second need, I don't know why I put the first, I made an error on the slide there, but whatever. If life is certain and predictable all the time, we will become depressed, unmotivated, bored, and die. Uncertainty, variety, stimulation, spontaneity, and unpredictability are essential for growth. We can get variety from the same methods as certainty. We can get variety from eating, drugs, sex, or anything that changes our focus or our state. And when I say state, I mean our emotional state, our physiological state. We can get it by setting goals, contributing beyond ourselves, learning, growing, taking on challenges, or using our imagination. You can just close your eyes, and you can envision. You can spend hours in meditation, envisioning things, and be completely, not be bored at all. Right? It's not the word I'm looking for, but so over here, the archetype that I chose was the Seven of Cups. Yeah, this is somebody who has, if all else, you can use your imagination and you can experience all types of variety just by imagining things that you want or desiring or creating, fake plays or dreams or movies in your mind, right? You can get lost in your mind in the realm of your own thoughts and experience variety, right? But here the archetype, we got all the cups representing all the different things that are coming out of the cups. Like, well, there's varieties available to us everywhere all the time. So again, you guys can read the PDF if you like. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just put the belief. I'll just read the first part of the PDF. I'm not going to go through all of it because it'll take too long. So for a uncertainty or a variety person, I believe that happiness comes from having many different experiences and challenges that exercise my emotional, intellectual, or physical range. My emotional well-being requires uncertainty, suspense, and surprise. I need the excitement that comes from variety, right? So these are people who need a lot of stimulation in their life, a lot of variety, right? That would be that need. So the third need is the need for significance. We all have the need to feel important, special, unique, and needed. We can get significance by overachieving, our looks, our behavior, being good or being the best at something. We can get it through knowledge, hobbies, talents, wealth status, accolades, political affiliations, religion, or breaking through, overcoming, assisting, and helping people. We can get significance by having problems. In fact, this is probably the number one way that people get significance. The number one way that people get significance, the need to feel important and special, is by having a problem. And when you constantly have a problem, or you have an unsolvable problem that can never be fixed, then it's beneficial for you. It's a great way to get your needs met, right? Remember the question: is it obtainable? Is it sustainable? Is it good for me and good for others? Is it bad for me or bad for others? Well, sometimes, again, we don't understand our unconscious patterns. So a lot of times people, in order for them to feel that they're special, that they're valuable, and they're needed, that they're worthy, that they're good enough, they'll have a problem that requires people to give them compassion and empathy. It's like, oh my gosh, you're having a problem again. You're having your problem again. Oh, let me help you. Let me help you. Right. And so, at first you might get a lot of attention for having the problem. But if you're living with somebody and you're constantly in a powerless victim state because you're focused on getting your need for significance met, eventually what's going to happen is that person is going to come to resent you because they're realizing that you have a problem that's never getting fixed and never getting solved. And actually the truth is you don't want to solve it. And the reason that you don't want to solve your problem is because it's benefiting you. It's meeting your needs. I have a problem that's meeting my need, even if it's not helpful or beneficial. And see, this is where this tool will begin to grow and expand for you. Is, am I meeting? We're going to get our needs met no matter. But the question is, you have to ask yourself: is the cause and effect of the way that I'm choosing to meet my need empowering me or disempowering me in the long run? Is this ultimately going to lead me to a life of fulfillment and happiness, or is it just my way of meeting my needs in the temporal moment to breadcrumb myself? I'm bullshitting myself. It's like, oh yeah, I can keep having this problem and I'll keep getting significance. Or dopamine selfies on social media. If you're a beautiful woman and you put up a bunch of pictures of your half naked self on social media, what are you going to do? You're going to get attention. And so you start getting the dopamine hits from getting all the selfies and all the likes and all the fake from people who don't know you. And then, 5 minutes goes by and the dopamine wears off. And what do you got to do? You got to go get it again. So you got to keep doing it. So again, is it obtainable or is it sustainable? Well, in the moment it's obtainable, but is it really empowering you? Is it helping you? Is it improving the quality of your life? Is it actually helping you get what you want out of life? No, it's not. Right. And so that's just another example that most people can relate with. And so the archetype here is the Six of Wands. I can get significance when I'm the most important person. When people think I'm the shit, right? I'm special, I'm unique, I'm valuable, I'm needed. The fourth need for connection or love. So the fourth human need is connection/love. Most people crave love, but settle for connection because love requires courage, vulnerability, and intimacy. Connection is less risky and therefore less painful when lost. We can get connection love by having problems or through God, religion, spirituality, through animals, friends, family members, having a purpose. We can get it through sex, contributing beyond ourselves, or through sickness, disability, giving, receiving, or walking in nature. There's lots of ways for us, again, to get our needs for connection. That's the easy way. Connection is available all around us. Love is difficult because love requires courage. So we have the archetype here of, the caduceus here, which is love and courage, basically, two souls here being shared. So what's happening in this picture? Is it connection or is it love? We don't know. Could be either or, right? So those are the first 4 needs. We just went through the first 4, the primal needs. Now we're going to move to the 2 spiritual needs. So the first or the fifth the first spiritual need, but the 5th need, the 5th human need, is the need for growth. We all must grow and evolve or we die. Spiritually, usually, like when we say grow or die, it's usually talking about our fulfillment in life, our spiritual growth. You're spiritually evolving and spiritually growing. Going back to the analogy of what I said earlier at the beginning of this would be growth. Hold on. I'm holding it up to the camera, and I haven't changed the camera. Yeah. We either grow, this is spiritual growth, the Lover's card, or we die, the Devil. Again, the more disconnected from spirit or source, meaning represented by the point of the pentacle pointing down, the more disconnected that we become from spirit, then the more that we die. So growth, expansion equals love, fulfillment, power, and life. Disconnection or deconstruction or apathy or contraction equals death. Disconnection from spirit and source. Right? So we all grow or we die. I think there's my nose running like a DM. I think there's a guy, David Hawkins, who wrote a book called Power versus Force, and he talks about it on an energetic level. So he maps out the energy of emotion, and he talks about what happens in the 2 realms of consciousness. And this is my paraphrase, but basically, as we go into higher states of emotion, that puts us into higher states of consciousness. And as we go into negative states or negative emotions, the lower end of the spectrum, which has a vibrational frequency attached to it, the more that we get into this devil energy stuff, right? So it's important to understand our need for growth, because if we're either expanding, we're growing, we're leveling up, or we're contracting, we're dying, and ultimately we're going to become this asshole. And we've all been this guy. Every single one of us has been this asshole. There's not a single person on here who's not been this asshole at least one time in their life, if not more times in their life. And I guarantee you that somebody, all of you probably know at least one person in your life who is being this asshole or is connected to this asshole, right? And it's unfortunate because, it's part of our evolution, but it's unfortunate because once you become the devil, it's a hell of a hole to climb yourself out of, because devil energy is very, very, very potent. Because on the level of getting our needs met, devil energy affords us the obtainable option to immediately get your immediate needs met. And so most people reach and grab for the low-hanging fruit. Let me get the easy thing, the quick thing, the fast thing. Quick, easy, fast, and low effort. It's obtainable. And they're not thinking about the long-term cause and effect or the long-term result of, this will meet my needs in the short term, but how is it going to meet my needs and help me in the long term? Right? So that's a whole other thing. So moving along, The last and final need is the need for contribution. Hopefully my internet connection won't completely bomb out. I don't know what's going on. We'll just cross our fingers and hope that the internet doesn't die. All right. The last and final need is for contribution. The sixth human need is the need to contribute beyond oneself or serve something greater than ourselves. Everything in life contributes to or is removed by quantum/spiritual laws of life. Life isn't just about us. And we see this out in nature, right? Anything that's not contributing, not benefiting the planet, decays, erodes, or disintegrates, or the ants come and they bite it, they eat it up, or some other type of, creature or some type of fungus or something, parasite will come and will devour that thing, or it'll just naturally combust and convert into something that's useful and beneficial, right? Like, cow shit, manure, right? So cows take a shit, and then the ground, it becomes fertilizer. So it gets repurposed into something. So those are the 6 human needs. Now, moving on. So awareness. We've reached the part that's most important here. We've reached the point where it's most important. This is awareness. We've reached the point of awareness. We are here. The infinity sign over the magician's head. How aware are you? How aware are you when it comes to this concept? Becoming aware of our top needs will help us understand our patterns, drivers, and behaviors. We can troubleshoot any area of our life and understand why we and others do what we do. With this awareness, we can change the way we meet our needs or the top needs we value by focusing on others. This is how easy it is. Once you become aware, consciously aware of the disempowering or empowering ways you're getting your needs met, then now you have something to work with. Obviously, if something, is meeting your needs in a positive way, great. So where this is really going to benefit you is understanding when you're meeting your needs in a disempowering way. So now you can troubleshoot an area of your life where you've been stuck, you haven't seen any progress, you're not moving forward, you're unfulfilled. Well, that area of your life is, you're probably meeting certain needs, but they're not the needs that, if you had the awareness to change it, you would have a different outcome, which we're going to explore. So troubleshooting, we can assess our top needs, but it has to be done honestly. So this isn't what you want them to be. You actually have to be honest with yourself and say, man, okay, this is how I'm getting my needs met. Not how I wished I was meeting my needs, but this is actually what it is. If you're going to bullshit yourself and you're going to lie to yourself, then you're going to stay stuck, right? The truth is what sets us free. So we can assess our top needs by measuring how people, situations, hobbies, relationships, attachments, behaviors meet our needs. This can be done globally by evaluating our spheres of life or assessing isolated situations and circumstances. We can meet any or all of the 6 needs by changing our perception, which is a belief that we have or an appreciation of, or we can change the need by procedure, which is what we call a vehicle or approach. So if you want to change a need, so let's say you're a certainty-driven person in relationships. So your relationship sucks. You want to change your relationship. Well, your top need is certainty. Your second need is significance, which is, I see this as a very common pattern in almost, 90% of the relationship coaching clients that come work with me. 2 groups of people in relationships. Top need is either certainty and significance or the other way around, significance and certainty. And so those are the 2 most common groups of people who come to me and they say, my relationship sucks, we're having problems, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Well, once I take them through this process and we look and see what needs they value the most, 90 to 95% of the time, it's one or the 2. They either have certainty and significance or significance and certainty as the top 2 needs. And so now all you have to do is learn how to change your needs. Well, you can do it by either changing a belief that you have or by changing something that you basically do. The ways in which you go about getting the needs met in a physical sense or the physical form. Sometimes maybe non-physical forms, but it's one of the 2. perception or action, essentially, right? So let's look at some examples here. So the green is yes, it's meeting my needs in a good way. The red down, thumbs down is bad, right? So we can meet our needs in positive ways, good for us and good for others, or negative ways, bad for us and bad for others. We should ask ourselves, am I meeting my needs in a way that is obtainable or sustainable? Let's look at some examples. Stages of life, right? So this is where you guys are going to want to get your pens. You're going to want to get your paper out. And if not, that's fine. You can come back and do the exercise later. But again, just listening to me tell you this isn't going to change shit. If you participate in this and you actually do the work, then you're becoming this guy, a powerful person. You're becoming a magician, right? You're using the tools and resources available to you to learn how to change and navigate yourself. And once you learn and you see it within you, then you can start to go out and you can see it within others. And again, if you just take this one tool, you could go out and you could literally become a coach yourself. You could literally start helping people and coaching people. You can integrate this as just a regular part of your life, any part of your life that you do. If you're a parent, you can use this to help with parenting your children effectively or more effectively, in relationships, in your friendships, at work. If you're a manager, you're a boss, or hey, you're an employee and you just would rather have a better relationship with your boss. Well, when you start to understand my boss is focused on these needs, then I can understand probably what his perception and model of the world is. And so now I can, I can interact with my boss in a way, understanding that that's what his or her top two needs are, in a way to where now I'm kind of involving myself, interacting with them in a way that they will understand at a much better level. So the options here are limitless, So let's take the stages of life. Now, what is a stage of life? A stage of life is any major point of life. So we have childhood. That's one major stage of life. When you grow up a little bit more, you become a teen. That's a different stage of life. A young adult. Are you in college? Do you have an early career? Are you living at home? Like, where are you? If you're a young adult, are you a single adult with a career, with a home? Are you a single adult that's dating? Do you want children? Yes or no? Are you a married adult with a career, children, and home? See, all these little variables matter, right? Are you retired? You're past midlife. Are you elderly? May require care from family or others. What stage of life are you at? Because the needs that you value at certain stages are going to be different. When you are a teen, what you valued, the needs that you valued are very different than what you're probably going to value when you're married and you have children, right? A teen probably wants a lot more variety in their life, a lot more experiences than a married person with children. Somebody who's married with children probably needs more certainty, right? So you have to, what stage of life are you in? So this is the exercise. We'll just do it as we go to save time. What stage of life or would you consider yourself in? That's the first thing you're going to want to do. Second thing, the sphere of influence. Okay, our spheres of influence are like the major containers of life that we're focused on. So are you primarily focused on relationships, which would be family, your intimate relationships, your friends, etc., your children? Or are you predominantly focused on yourself, your personal growth, your body, your aesthetics, working out, health, your hobbies, your interests? Or are you predominantly mostly focused on your work, your job, or your mission in life, your purpose in life, right? Career, society, culture, whatever. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get on your paper, whatever you have, as you do the exercise. And I'm just going to show you an example here. If I can figure out my buttons. So this is what it would look like. I'm just going to do it and display it. So again, all this will make sense. I didn't make you guys listen to all this for shits and giggles and just to give you a bunch of information and no application. So you're going to rate the three spheres of life in order from most important to least important. So the first stage of life, I'm going to put, I'm single. Obviously I'm single, so I'm not married. So I'm single and I'm midlife. That's my stage of life. And you don't really have to do this part of it. It is kind of important. So, you might as well. Now, the spheres of life. What am I mostly focused on right now? Self, work, relationships. What am I mostly focused on here? So, first sphere, second sphere of life, third sphere of life. The biggest is the most important. The little is the smallest. Right now, my mission, my purpose. And if I had to be completely honest, the next one, at least for now, I've been focused on myself, and relationships have been on the back burner for me this year. Now, in the past, just as an example, in the past, it used to be this. It was relationships first. It was my mission second, and then myself was last. Now, this is important to know as we continue to go down this exercise, right? I'm gonna leave this board out here. So this is how you want to start. You want to just take inventory of your life and be completely honest with yourself. What is the most important sphere in your life here? Let me bring back the slides here. So, is it relationships, self, or work? Now, once you have that written down, figured out, now what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to look at what you spend your time focusing on. This is extremely important. This is the game changer. What are you focused on? And you have to be honest. What are you focused on? Are you focused on, do you spend most of your time focused on the past, the present, or the future? Do you spend most of your time focused on what you have or what you don't have? Do you spend most of your time focused on what's working in your life or what's not working in your life? Do you spend most of your time focusing on what's present or what's missing? Are you spending most of your time focused on positivity or negativity? Things that are empowering you or things that you feel powerless over or things that are disempowering you? Is life for me or is life against you? Do you feel like life is working out for you? Or do you feel like life is always against you? What is your perception of the divine? Is God loving or is God angry? Is there a force greater than you? Or are you all that there is? So these are very important questions to identify with here. All right, the next is our obtainable vehicles. So remember, when it comes to meeting our needs, is it obtainable or is it sustainable? Is it something that's easy? Is it low-hanging fruit? Can we just get it because it's immediately gratifying and it's going to fulfill our immediate needs? Or is it sustainable? Is it going to empower us? Is it going to help us become a powerful person or help us step into that magician energy? Well, here obviously some examples here: addictions, relationships, works, hobbies, exercise, trauma, problems, sickness, politics, religion, different emotional states, right? So again, you have to take inventory. How are you getting your needs met most of the time, right? And your focus will determine on the things that you gravitate towards, by the way. If you're focused on negativity, if you're focused on what you don't have, if you're focused on what's not working out for you in life, then the very act of the fact that you're focusing on that is going to create it's going to put you in a certain type of emotional state. And then from that emotional state, you're going to act. And so the way that you act, the things that you go and that you reach towards to get your needs met will be as a result of what you were focused on to begin with. So let's take a look at this exercise. So your vehicles, your focus, and your spheres. What spheres of influence are most important to you in this stage of life? So obviously, I told you guys to rate yourself, which I drew that on the whiteboard. And then you're going to ask yourself, what challenges might one experience as a result of your sphere? So for example, if we go back to the board, my board, in my past, when I was focused on relationships and, my mission, my work was second, and then last place was self, what challenges would I have? Well, the benefits is when I'm focused on my relationships predominantly, then I might, obviously, if I'm with somebody, or if I was dating somebody, then maybe I'm prioritizing my relationship. There could be good that comes from that. If I'm single, however, and I'm obsessing over the fact that I'm single and I'm not finding anybody, then basically it could be a disadvantage because I'm neglecting myself and I'm neglecting my mission because I'm focused on the fact that I need to have love, but I don't have love. So I'm spending all my focus, all my time, my attention. I'm trying to get my needs met by focusing on, a relationship that I don't have, when I could be using that same energy to focus on my mission or myself. And it's neither good nor bad. It's just a conscious decision, a conscious choice. You have to decide for you if are you happy with the life that you're living or not? If you're happy with this setup, you're happy with this hypothetical situation here where your relationship, you're focused on the fact that, well, I'm single and I can't find anybody, but my mission in life is suffering and myself is suffering because I'm spending so much time focused on trying to find somebody, find love. I'm trying to find somebody. I need to have love. I need to have love. That your mission is suffering and yourself is suffering in some degree, large or small. If you're okay with that, I'm not here to judge you. Up here, this is my current. So this is, this was my past and this is my current. So obviously, if I'm focusing on my mission right now and I'm focusing on myself and I'm not so focused on my relationship, well, then the benefit is obviously my mission is growing. I'm connecting with people. I'm contributing, and I'm very fulfilled right now. I feel very fulfilled in my life right now because I'm meeting all of my needs in very positive ways. I'm meeting my needs for certainty. I'm meeting my needs for variety. I'm meeting my needs for significance. I'm meeting my needs for connection and love. I'm meeting my needs for growth. I'm meeting my needs for contribution. All of my needs are getting met at pretty high levels here in my mission. And then myself, when I focus on my self-development, my personal growth, what I'm doing is the more that I focus on myself, is the more that it empowers this, my mission. Because you can't, your purpose and your mission can't outgrow you. You are the limiting factor of your mission, your purpose in life. So if you don't grow and you don't evolve, then your mission and your purpose doesn't grow or evolve. So in order for me to come out here and serve you all, whether it's through tarot readings or whether it's through sharing information like this, or whether it's, doing the other things that I do in life when it's relationship coaching or other types of coaching, I have to work on me to keep evolving and keep growing so that I can be better and better and better and better at what I do when I come out here to serve all you guys, right? So the more that I work on me, the better my mission becomes. Now, this is in this current season of life. Now, if I met somebody and relationships came into the picture, then that would be a whole different situation. It'd be a whole different scenario, right? So, but you have to think about that. So when people, let me go back to this real quick. When people come to me with relationship advice and the wife is pissed off at the husband because all the husband does is work all the time, you can see, we'll call this person number one, and we'll call this person number two. So person number one is the husband, person number two is the wife. You can see how this would create this dynamic, this setup in a relationship or a marriage would create problems. Because the man is focused on his mission. His needs and his priority are mission focused. The wife is focused on relationship. Her needs, she wanted to get her needs met from the man, from the relationship. Well, these two things are not in alignment because he's focused on the mission, not her. And she's focused on trying to get him, and that's not going to work. She's going to resent the fact that he's focused on work, and work gets all of his time, all of his attention and all that, and she feels neglected because she's relationship focused. He doesn't feel neglected, and he doesn't feel that there's any problems in the marriage or the relationship because all of his needs are getting met because he's trying to get his needs met through work. He's like, yeah, I'm really happy. I'm perfectly happy with my life. What the hell's, she's the one with the problem. My wife's the one with the problem. Okay, well, let's find out why she's having a problem. Well, here it is. Here's why the wife is having a problem. She wants to get her needs met from her husband because she's relationship focused. He's not relationship focused. He's mission focused. There's a big discrepancy there. It's not one that can be, it's not an obstacle that can't be overcome. It can be overcome, but again, you have to become aware of it. I'm just giving you guys some examples of how this stuff can work, how powerful this stuff works. All right. So example one is for you to rate your sphere of life, which we just did. Second, your vehicles for your focus and spheres. We did that. What are you focused on? Past, present, what you have versus what you don't have, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so next exercise, the vehicles, the focus and spheres. So what vehicles do you use to meet your needs? Are they obtainable? Are they sustainable? How does your focus influence the needs you desire most? Exactly. If you're focused on what you don't have, you're focused on what's not working, if you're focused on what hurts, if you're focused on the past, if you're focused on the pain, if you're focused on scarcity, if you're focused on loss, if you're focused on betrayal, if you're focused on what you don't have, right? Then again, how are you going to get your needs met? What's going to be influencing you? Positive energy, negative energy, right? What emotional state are you going to be in most likely based upon your focus? If you focus on shit, scarcity, poverty, loss, betrayal, hurt, what people did to you, what you don't have, what you can't have, your limitations, you're focused on your challenges, you're focused on why you can't have it, why you can't fix it, why you can't break through, then how does that affect you energetically? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be excited? Are you going to be full of life, full of motivation, full of inspiration? Are you going to be sad? Are you going to be depressed? Are you going to be angry? Are you going to be pissed? Are you going to be apathetic? Are you going to be numb? Right? Because it's really hard to create change when you're in a low vibrational state. When you're apathetic, depressed, and sad, and bummed out, and you're drained, no energy, no life, no zest, no inspiration, no passion, it's really hard to motivate yourself to go make a change because you're just in a low vibrational state. And you keep yourself in a low vibrational state because of what you focus on. When you change what you focus on, you change the state that you're in energetically, and now you have access to the resources, the magician card. You start to step into becoming a powerful person because you start to realize, hey, I'm meeting my needs in a disempowering way, and I become adapted to it. I become addicted to it. Because remember, anything that meets three of your needs, at least three of your needs will become an addiction. So most people become addicted to their powerlessness. That's why people get stuck in patterns, because you're addicted to your powerlessness. You're meeting your needs in very, very obtainable, low-hanging fruit, easy ways to get, but it's very disempowering for you, right? That's how this works. So questions to ask yourself: what is life about for you? What's been getting in the way? And what needs to change? So this is where you want, again, to probably get your pen and paper out. And this is between you and yourself. But these are questions that you can ask yourself. What is life about for you? Well, for me, life is about love, growth, and contribution or giving. helping, healing, contribution, giving. Right? My handwriting sucks, but whatever. You get the point. This is, we all need to have a mission statement, right? Businesses have a mission statement. What is your I am statement? What is your mission statement in life? What is life about for you? Okay. Well, the next question is, what's been getting in the way? Oops. What's been getting in the way? I don't know what I just said over there. No clue. What's been getting in the way of that? So I would need to go in. Would need to go in, and I have no idea what I clicked to put that shit on my screen. I have no idea what I just clicked to put that on. Okay, it's off. What's been getting in the way of this for you? Is there something that's been getting in the way for you? You have to be honest with yourself. And what would need to change? What's been getting in the way of me with love, growth, and contributing and giving to others? Time, energy, money, resources, people, my thoughts, my beliefs, my health. What's been getting in the way of my mission statement? Right? And then what can I do to change it? What can I do about it? The next exercise is, now we're getting into rating our needs. So this is where all of this is coming together now, right? It's all coming full circle to make sense. What needs do you value most based on the information you provided, and how important are those needs to you from a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not important at all and 10 is I can't live without it. So here's an example, right? If, again, just somebody that's, it's just a pretend hypothetical, right? So let's say that you're somebody who rates yourself and say, well, yeah, if I'm completely honest with myself based on the information that I'm writing down, if you're being honest with yourself, truthful, if I say right now, how am I needing my needs, or how are my needs for certainty getting met on a scale of 1 to 10, right? Depending on your 3 spheres that you've put down, right? Are you mission driven? Are you self-driven? Are you relationship driven? If you're mission driven, great. Then on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your mission, your work, your career, all of that? How is that meeting your need on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, for me, I would say right now, it's a 9 or a 10, right? So let me go back to our slides here. So, but could be different for you. For me, my mission, I'm mission focused right now, and that's meeting my needs of certainty at a 9, right? Now, the asterisk, again, denotes the most what your top need is. Because remember, your top 2 needs are the ones that are determining everything else in your life, basically, right? So we always have to remember that. Now, significance, how much significance, how special, important, and needed and value do I feel when I'm focused on my mission right now? Well, I would probably agree with the example. I would say coming here and doing this with you guys, serving you guys, makes me feel good, makes me feel special, makes me feel needed, makes me feel like I'm worth something. So I would say it's meeting my needs at 9. Okay, let's go to uncertainty. How much uncertainty or variety do I experience when I come here? I would also say probably a 9, because I never know what's going to happen. When you guys come here and you ask me your questions and I have to do a tarot reading, it's completely spontaneous. I have no idea what you're going to ask me. I have no idea what questions I'm going to be challenged with. Just constantly in a state of uncertainty and variety. There's so much variety. I meet so many different people. You guys all are your own person with your own life and your own unique questions, and then the messages that come through me. It's very spontaneous. So I would say, right now, my need for variety is being met at a level 9 also. So far, my mission is is meeting my needs at a really high level. So far, my need for certainty is getting met at a really high level. My need for variety is getting met at a really high level. My need for significance is getting met at a high level. Let's move on to the 4th need, connection and love. How much connection and love do I experience by being out here with you guys? I would also say 9. Really high, because I feel connected to you all in a positive and empowering way, because I feel like I'm able to provide something that's needed. Like, I'm actually here to help you guys. I can do something. It's like, hey, and then some of you guys I've gotten to know personally in some cases. And so, I've created relationships with people. I've met people as a result of doing this. And so, that's meeting my needs for connection at a high level. Let's move on to the 5th need, growth. How much growth do I experience being out here? Man, I want to say a 10. Easy. Every time I get on here and learn, every time I get on here and I serve you guys, I walk away, my mind is blown. And again, it's not egotistical. It's not because me. It's just that when I step out of my own way and I allow the divine knowledge to come through me, sometimes things come out that I'm hearing the things coming out of my mouth, and it's blowing my mind, because I'm like, man, this is some divine, crazy knowledge. And it's stuff that I have to go back and I have to listen to it for me, because I know that message wasn't just for the person. That message was also beneficial for me, and I'm constantly learning and growing by challenging myself, because I'm an introvert, and this is scary. And I tell you guys this all the time. I not one time do I ever come out here and I get in front of this camera and I do these lives where I'm not anxious. When I press the record button to start, it's like a surge of anxiety goes through my body, because I do not want to. It's the initial response is I don't want to do this, but I push through that discomfort. And once I get going, like I am right now, I don't feel that anxiety anymore. I'm in the mission. I'm in the work. I'm in the flow. But, initially there is that anxiety. So I'm growing because I'm challenging myself to do things. And the more that I challenge and the more that I show up, the more confidence that I have that I can help and I can serve, that I can actually do this and I can do it well and I can do it even better than I was before, because I'm gaining experience. That's more growth. I'm learning things. I'm picking up things. It's like there's this constant channel of growth that's occurring by being here. So my last need, contribution. The 6th need. How is my work and my mission being out here serving you guys, meeting my needs from 1 to 10? 1 is nothing. 10 is absolutely meeting my needs at the highest level possible. How much contribution do I get from being out here? A 10. 100%. Because I know that I know that I know that I can serve, and I am serving. And when I, the more that I serve and the more that I give and the more that I allow this coexisting, this co-collaboration with God's source of the universe to work through me to serve the rest of you, because we're all one, really. We're all one big family here. The more fulfilled I am, because I'm going back to way back at the beginning of this whole life. I was talking about people who were spiritually depressed, purpose depressed, spiritually bankrupt. And moving into 2025, I talked about the spiritual awakening, and that all these people were no longer going to be able to deny or ignore their spiritual bankruptcy. They're not going to be able to ignore, they're not going to be able to suppress or escape or medicate their purpose depression. That intensity inside of their soul, that void that they feel, they can't escape it anymore. So they're going to be forced into an acknowledgement of, hey, your soul is starving and it's empty. Are you going to feed your soul? Are you going to give your soul, your spirit, your highest self what it really wants? Yes or no? Right? And so to be out here and to be part of the great work, the great awakening, to make myself available to this people, so that basically, because I've led myself to my own awakening, I can lead people to theirs. Because you can't lead somebody where you have not led yourself. It doesn't work that way. But because I've led myself to my awakening, and I've tapped into my spiritual gifts, I can come here and I get to share those gifts with you all in the collective. It's contribution. So it's meeting my need for contribution at a high level. So let's take a look at this. So I've ranked myself. I know it's kind of It's kind of shitty. It's all over the place. So we have, here are my needs right here. First one, certainty is a 9 or a 10. Variety that I get from being mission focused is meeting my needs at a 9. How much significance am I experiencing? A 9. How much connection and love am I experiencing? A 9. How much growth am I experiencing? A 10. How much contribution am I experiencing? A 10. So with this, with my mission meeting all 6 of my needs at extremely high levels, basically my mission is like my obsession. My mission right now is my obsession because there's nothing else in my life really that's meeting my needs at such high levels in a sustainable way. Remember, is it obtainable? Is it sustainable? Meeting your needs. Is it good for you and good for others? Is it bad for you or bad for others? That's the question. Is this good for me and good for others right now? Yes. Is it meeting my needs empowering or disempowering ways? Empowering ways, not disempowering ways. There's no negative benefits that I have by getting my needs met by my mission right now. And again, I'm just using myself as an example. Your life, your situation, your circumstances are different. There's no right or wrong here. You could be a relationship-oriented person right now. You could be a self-focused person right now. And when I say self-focused, I don't mean selfish. I mean, you're just focused on yourself, your health, your wellness, your well-being, you know, your spiritual development, your personal growth, right? It doesn't matter which one of the spheres is your primary sphere of life. It's just, you know, how is that sphere of life meeting your needs, and is it meeting your needs in ways that are obtainable or sustainable, good for you, good for others, bad for you, bad for others? And if you're unhappy and you're dissatisfied in whatever's going on in that sphere of life, so again, if you're a relationship-focused person and you're unhappy with your relationship, and you're not fulfilled, you're not satisfied, then we need to look at what needs your relationship or what needs of yours are getting met in this sphere, in this relationship sphere, and are the ways that you're currently getting your needs met obtainable or sustainable? Are they good for you? Or are they bad for you, right? And so it's very simple. It's just a very simple, logical, there's nothing profound here. You could teach this shit to a 5-year-old. They would understand it. And again, you can troubleshoot. You can troubleshoot you can troubleshoot other, you can troubleshoot your entire life. It's a very simple exercise, right? So I forgot to put which 2 of my top needs are my most important. So for me, I'm going to say connection, love, and contribution. So there's certainty, variety, significance, love. So this one here, love and connection, I'll just put up here, L for love, and contribution is my second top need. So these 2, love and contribution, are my top 2 needs. So this guy and this guy. Contribution is the 6th need. So these are my top 2 needs out of the 6 that I value most, right? So I'm focused on connection and love and contribution. Now, here's something, an additional benefit here. Actually, let me go back to the slide. Let's not get off on a tangent. So once you've done all of this, rate your fulfillment. Are your top needs empowering or disempowering? What would you change? How would your life be different if you focused on other needs? So if you are a certainty-driven person, we'll say, let me get this off here. This is very important. So for those of you that are having problems in your life, because I used myself as an example and I'm not having a bunch of problems in my life right now, so that's not a good example to use. It's better to use an example of people that are actually having problems, because that's why people would want to learn this. It's like, I'm having a problem. Help me fix my problem. If my life was great, you probably wouldn't be here listening to this by now. Because, man, my life's fucking amazing. I don't need to learn. I don't need to know any of this shit, right? So let's say your top need, if you're honest, is certainty. All right? And your sphere of life, you chose your primary sphere of life. Because remember, we have relationships, we had self, and we had your work or your mission. I'm going to put M for mission. Here are the 3 spheres. And you're like, well, right now, relationships is my primary focus. All right. What needs are you focused on? What are your top needs? If you were really honest with yourself, out of the 6. And you're like, well, I've mostly been focused on certainty, trying to maintain safety, trying to maintain security, trying to avoid pain, making sure that I'm in control of my relationships, whether being in control that I won't get hurt, that I won't be betrayed, that I won't be rejected, or trying to, control in the sense of if I can control people, if I can manipulate people, then they won't be able to leave me, right? It can go either way. And again, most people aren't aware that they do this, by the way. Okay. So let's say your second top need is significance. And this is just a very, very common pattern that I see from most all of my coaching clients. So I'm just giving you the ones that come to me most often here. This person comes to me and they say, hey, my relationship, I'm single, I can't find, or they'll say I'm married, whatever, it doesn't matter. But let's just say you're single. You're single and you can't find anybody. It's like, man, I'm single. I have terrible relationships. I meet people and it sucks. The dating world sucks. It's a shit show out there. There's no good people left. Online dating sucks. Dating sucks. Dating sucks this. Dating sucks that. Blah, 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 blah. All the complaints, right? So we take you into this exercise and let's explore why you believe that the dating world sucks. Remember, going back to the previous slides, what are you focused on? What you have, what you don't have. Empowering or disempowering beliefs. Empowering thoughts, disempowering thoughts. Well, this person, as a coach, I'm listening to them tell me all the disempowering beliefs that they have about why dating sucks. I'm like, okay, well, I know where their focus is. It's not in empowering, not how do I fix the problem. It's on what's not working. Why am I powerless? Why can't I find love? Why? Not, I can fix this. Let's troubleshoot this. Let's try something different. Let's try a different approach. Let me change myself. Like there's all kinds of different opportunities and ways that this problem can be solved because people solve this problem all the time. If it were true that online dating sucks and it's absolutely pointless and worthless and useless, then there'd be nobody that met anybody on online dating. True or false? But people meet their partners and soulmates and spouses all the time on dating apps. True or false? So just because you're the one person that's not meeting your person on the online dating apps doesn't mean that the online dating apps suck and they're pointless. They might suck for you. They might suck in the experience that you're having, but you've created a global belief about online dating. The online dating is sucked. But yet there you are on the online dating site, despite the fact that you have a global belief that online dating sites suck. And so you can't figure out why you're not getting a positive result based on a negative global belief that you already have about the environment that you put yourself in. Doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? Well, but there's a reason even deeper than that. Because when you get into here, you start to realize like, well, what need are you? So, again, putting my coaching hat back on, I'll listen to the person, asking them questions like, okay, so what, let's look at other things besides the dating world. Let's look at your relationships in general. Tell me about your past relationships. Tell me about your last relationship. What was going on in that? Were you married before? Yeah, I was married before. Okay, what happened in your marriage? Happened. What happened? Or if you weren't married and you just got out of a bad relationship with somebody, you recently broke up with somebody, right? Well, this happened. ABC, XYZ happened. Okay. And so I'm listening and I'm like, well, man, it sounds like they're they have every reason to be focused on certainty. All I'm hearing this person say is certainty, like screaming that their top need is certainty, right? And so then when I take them through this process, and if they're honest with me, I'm like, would you agree that based on the things that you've been telling me, that it sounds like you're the driving force of your life, the most important need that you have is to avoid pain and to protect yourself right now? And if they're honest, they'd say yes. So boom, there it is. I want to avoid pain, and I want to make sure that I can. But here's the thing. What does this person really want? This is what they really want. They really want love. Why is love so hard to get? If love is what I really, really want, why is it so hard to get? Well, because this is how this works. In order for you to allow yourself, your nervous system, your beliefs, the subconscious part of you, in order for you to allow yourself to experience love, you have some other barriers that are standing between you and said love within yourself. In other words, you have to fulfill your need for certainty before you will feel significant enough. And then if you can obtain some degree of certainty, then you can move to significance. And then if you feel special enough and valuable enough and needed enough, then you will actually give yourself permission to experience love. Now, how difficult is that going to be? If this is your blueprint for love, in order for me to get love, I must be certain all the time that I'll avoid pain, and I must know that I'm special, I'm needed, and I'm the most important person to the person that I want to love me. That's going to be very challenging, because who can give you 100% certainty all the time? What person outside of yourself can give you absolute certainty? No one. That's powerlessness. You're expecting someone to give you certainty. You're expecting someone to make you feel safe 100% of the time. So then if let's just say in a very brief moment, they accomplish that. Okay, I've given you some degree of certainty. I've given you enough certainty. Well, now we're on to the next challenge. Okay, I feel certain in this moment, in this very, very special moment, I feel certain. I feel safe with you. Okay, well, now we have the next challenge. Now I have to feel important. You have to make me feel like I'm the most important, special thing in your entire life. And if you can do that, guess what? Oh my God, there it is. There was the love. There was the love that I was looking for and searching for this whole time. Now, is this pattern obtainable or sustainable? Right? Is it good for you and good for others? Is it bad for you and bad for others? Right? This pattern, out of any pattern, again, when people come to me for relationship advice and relationship coaching, I said this multiple times throughout the presentation, their top needs are either certainty and significance or significance and certainty. One or the other. But all of them come to me saying, I want love, I want love, I want love. I want my, whether they're married, they're single, whatever, divorced, doesn't matter. Everybody says they want love. Why is it so hard? Why is it so fucking hard to lay hold of this thing called love? Because what most people don't know is that they're living in a powerless place. They're being a powerless person because they're unaware of the fact that there's a blueprint. There's a program that's running behind the scenes that's controlling their ability to experience the thing that they desire called love. And it's a very difficult one, because what one person might have to give you in order for you to feel certain is different than what somebody else is going to have to give you in order for you to feel certain. What one person has to do in order to make you feel significant and special and desirable and worthy might be different than what somebody else is going to have to do. It changes. There's not a one size shoe fit all approach when it comes to dealing with relationships. And so you're having this experience. And so this is how the pattern continues to evolve and grow and becomes a bigger issue down the road, because you keep having an experience of, I want love, but I'm not getting love, right? So the goal is to get love, but this is where we end up. We end up in pain, rejection, or disappointment. The goal was to get love, and this is where most people end up. And the more that they experience this, the more that it fuels all of this, the certainty and the significance. Because again, certainty is about avoiding pain, avoiding rejection, avoiding disappointment. So all we're doing is we're feeding your negative pattern for certainty. We're giving it more fuel, more fuel, more fuel. You need more certainty than you did the last time. So this time you end up with somebody, the relationship fails, they break up, they cheat, or you just don't get along, whatever. Now, guess what? When you go out and you look for the next guy or the next girl, is it going to be easier? Are you going to need more certainty or less certainty? You're going to need more certainty because the last relationship failed. And if this relationship fails, are you going to need more certainty than you did the last time, or are you going to need less certainty? You're going to need even more. So every time you have a painful experience or a rejection or disappointment, you're just going to need more certainty and then more certainty and then more certainty and then more. And then some people, they end up needing so much certainty. They're just like, fuck it. I don't even want to be a relationship anymore. I'll either buy a bunch of cats, I'll turn gay, I'll be in a polyamorous relationship, or I'll just become unavailable. I'll become avoidant, or I'll just say, screw it. And I just will be a hermit, and I'll just become bitter, angry, resentful, and be like, hey, you know what? Fuck all you people out there in your happy relationships. Relationships are bullshit. Love isn't real. Love is fake. Blah, 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 blah. Eventually you'll get to such a high, you'll need so much certainty that you become delusional. You fall into that devil energy. There's levels to this stuff, but this is how you can understand your patterns, right? So going back to our slides here, we're reaching the end here. I know that I've gone much over, but we're reaching the end of this exercise. I'm going to be getting into giving you guys readings here. You have to rate you have to honestly rate your needs. What are your current needs? How are you meeting your needs? What needs to change? What needs to be different? What needs to be, to achieve a higher level of fulfillment and possibility? What action steps can you take right now to make a change? Right? And yeah, that's it. So that's the end of the slide. So essentially, that's how this works. That's the importance of understanding how all of this stuff basically works. And again, this is, I could probably do a 3 or 4 hour presentation on this to go through many other specific examples from each different sphere of life, multiple examples from each different sphere of life, because there are multiple different types of configurations based on how you rate your needs. So you could be somebody totally different. You could have love as your top need, growth is your second need, and then the other ones, right? And then let's say you're dealing with somebody who has an addiction. It's like, I don't understand why my husband has a porn addiction. Well, I can probably tell you why your husband has a porn addiction. One, how certain is he that he can gain access to the porn on a scale of 1 to 10? Probably a 10, 100% certain that he has access to porn. How much variety does he experience? Is there a lot of different porn that he can look at? Yes. So that's going to meet his needs for variety at 10 also, right? How much significance does he experience? How important, how needed, how special does he feel? Well, let's say, maybe it's like a 5, so that's not going to meet that need probably too much. How much connection can he get though? On a scale of 1 to 10 by watching porn, he might be able to get an 8, 9, or 10, right? Connecting to the fantasy of being with a woman, or just sitting there, jerking himself off. And we all do it. I'm not judging people. We all masturbate. At least you should be. And if you're not, what the fuck's wrong with you? How much growth? Well, he's probably not going to get a whole lot of growth. I mean, some things might grow, but that's not the kind of growth I'm talking about. He might, probably not a whole lot of growth from watching porn, to be honest with you. So we'd probably put like a 2. How much contribution? Well, interestingly enough, he might actually feel in a fantasy, that's through some type of fantasy state that he's actually contributing to something beyond himself, because because of his need for connection. He's connecting to the, to what's going on in the video, the porn that he's watching. He might feel that he's actually contributing to it somehow. It maybe on like a more subconscious, unaware level. So we'll say maybe contribution is at like a level 5, right? So if we go back and we look at that list, well, he knows it's certain, he has access to it. That's a 10. Variety is a 10. Connection is a 10. So already we have 3 needs, and anything that meets 3 or more of your needs at a high level will become an addiction. So he's got a porn addiction. Now we know why he has the porn addiction. He's certain he has access to it. It offers him a lot of stimulation and variety. He gets a lot of connection from it. And even the other 3 needs, like there's some degree maybe of contribution there. Maybe not a whole lot, but some degree. You might get a little bit of significance from it, maybe like a 5, and then growth is like probably the least, like a 1, because you're not really growing a whole lot. You're not evolving a whole bunch by jerking to porn. But at least you know why now. You know why he has a porn addiction. That's just an example that comes to mind. When it comes to a relationship, you can look at your top needs, and you can look at your partner's needs. If your top 2 needs are different than their top 2 needs, you're going to have a problem in your relationship. If you have a need for certainty and significance, and you're with somebody who has a need for significance and certainty, even though it's flip-flop, you're going to have problems. If you have a top need for certainty and significance, and you have a partner who is love-oriented and growth-oriented, or love-oriented and contribution-oriented, you're going to have problems. Because the person that's needing certainty and significance to experience love is always going to be up the other person's ass over here, who's focused on love and contribution, love and giving. And this person is going to be jealous or envious. There's going to be some type of issues. And so then what this person will probably do is, whether they're aware of it or not, they'll create some type of problem, or they'll self-sabotage in a way to try to get their partner over here to make them their primary focus. So this person over here won't be allowed basically to focus on their, on what makes them, because their top need is love, their second need is contribution. So, like maybe they serve at their church. Maybe they're just a giving person. Maybe they have some other type of way that they serve, whatever that thing is for them. This person's going to make it very difficult for this person over here to just enjoy and be free to be the person that they want to be, because they're constantly needing this person to give them certainty and significance so they can experience love. But this person's blueprint is different. This person is already experiencing love because it's their top need. And they're over here worried about how they can give that love to the world, including their partner, but also other people, something bigger beyond themselves, right? So you can see how different configurations, different people having different sets of needs can create different types of problems, right? And so as you become a practical psychologist, as you learn to become the magician, as you troubleshoot yourself, and you learn and it's going to take you a little bit of time, but it's not hard, right? You just evaluate where you feel stuck in life right now. Where am I stuck? Where am I dissatisfied? Where am I unhappy? Start with the spheres. Right? Start with the spheres. What's most important to me right now? Relationships, myself, my work, my mission, my passion. Start there. Once you do this is a recap, and then I'm closing out and finishing the presentation. So just a quick recap. Once you do this, once you determine what sphere of life you're focused on, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to have to get really honest about what are you focused on. Are you focused on empowering things or disempowering things? Because the things that you're focused on are going to give you clues to the types of needs that you're most likely associating with. And this is how I know if people lie to me or not. Because if I get people to tell me what they're focused on, and then we get to going down the list of their needs, and their needs don't match what they said that they're focusing on, I know that they lied to me. And it doesn't mean people, we typically don't, the people who come to me for coaching aren't lying to me maliciously, but they're just lying because they feel once they become aware of the disempowering behavior, they become embarrassed. We start to experience shame and guilt because we feel like, oh, I'm not doing it right. Oh, I'm failing. Oh, I have a problem. Oh my God, I'm fucked up. It's like, no, you're not failing. You're not a fuck up. You're not a reject. You're not broken. You just didn't know what you didn't know because no one taught you this. You're a human being. And so it's nothing to be ashamed about. There's no guilt. It's empowering, right? If you're focusing on guilt and, anytime you go into personal development, spiritual development, or self-development, anything that requires you to look inside of yourself, to look at a problem, or to look at your own shit, it's a good thing. And so many people resist it because they have that mentality that, oh my God, if I look within myself and I find all these problems, then I'm a problem. I'm a terrible person. I'm a failure. No one's going to love me and I suck. And look, oh my God, look at all these problems, all these issues. I'm broken. I'm rejected. I suck. That's not true. It's not true at all. You just didn't know what you didn't know. How can you fix something until you even know that you have a problem to fix? How can you take responsibility or accountability for something that you're unaware of? Well, once you become aware of it, now you have the power to take accountability for it and conquer it and step into the power of the magician, become a powerful person. And that goes all the way back to what I hope, hopefully, that this presentation was beneficial for you all on some level. I hope that this, and it was a lot, even though I could have gone on and on and on and on and on and on, much deeper into this concept. Hopefully that some of you guys got some added value out of this, and that you begin to apply this to your life, you will continue to get added value out of this. And so what I would say for you guys to do is to just start to become aware of how you are getting your needs met and how other people are getting their needs met. Just try to, and I know it can be hard to remember how, but sometimes I'll do it. I'll get in a conversation with somebody and I'll just pay attention to what they're saying. And I'm like, okay, I think this person's, their needs based on the conversation they're having with me might be this, this, and this. Or look at other people's lives and other people's situations, right? And so once, just a little bit of practice, and you'll get really good at this. So I shared all this with you guys as just in closing here, closing out the presentation rather, and we're going to jump into the readings now. I shared all this with you as, again, just as a reminder that this is just one example of many of the things that I will be sharing inside of the Conscious Collective group that I'll be starting with my friend Trudy. Again, a lot of you know Trudy, some of you may not. She has her own tarot channel, Soul Tribe Tarot, and we're going to be talking about a lot of this kind of stuff. Now, this is just one example. What I shared with you tonight is the tip of the iceberg. Just one crazy empowering tool, tip of the iceberg of something, just to give you an example of what you guys can expect inside of this group, where I'll be sharing everything I know, basically, inside of the group, going super deep, having a lot of hands-on, doing subgroups, doing sessions. Like, I really am just going to pour everything that I've learned into this group and the members of this group, so that you guys can take your life back. You can take power, take control over your life. You can become the magician. You can access your spiritual destiny, your spiritual gifts, and you can start to literally create the change in your life that you want to experience. You don't have to live stuck anymore. You don't have to wonder and wait and when's life going to happen and when's this going to, and all that kind of shit. Like, I'll teach you the tools, and you don't need to be Albert Einstein to learn this. Like, I could teach anything that I have in my mind could be taught to a 5-year-old. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to understand. You don't have to have a background in anything. You could be a homeless person off the street. Doesn't matter. Like, it's very, very, very simple things and concepts to learn, and they're very practical. That's why they work. That's why I chose this methodology instead of therapy, because, and I've got nothing against therapy per se, but in my opinion, and based on my experience and the experiences of many others who've participated in modern therapy, therapeutic models, not all of them, but a lot of them, a lot of therapy promotes more powerlessness. And that goes against my mission statement. I am not here to promote more powerlessness in the world. That's the powerless pandemic. I am here to promote powerful, you becoming the powerful person, you becoming the magician, you becoming the person that has the power to change your life, take control of your life, no matter what happens, that you will give yourself your own certainty, that you give yourself significance. Like, I know that I'm important. I give myself my own degree of certainty. I don't need to get that shit outside of myself anymore. It doesn't have to be the primary focus of my life. Am I going to be safe? Am I going to be safe? Is someone going to give me my certainty? Is someone going to make me feel special so that I feel good enough to deserve love? Because the two primary fears that people have, there's only two. You peel back all the layers. You come to me and you tell me what your problems are. You tell me what your fear is. That's the surface level shit. If we peel back the layers and we get down, way, way, way down to the core, there's really only two fears that all humans have. The fear that we're not good enough, or the fear that we won't be loved, or that we'll lose the love that we already have. That's it. The fear that we're not good enough, and the fear that we won't experience or have love, or that we'll lose the love that we already have. It'll be taken from us. Those are the two primary driving fears that all human beings have. Now, the surface level shit that people complain about, they might say, no, that's not it, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. You peel back the layers, you're always going to find that those are the two driving fears. And if you believe that in your subconscious, in your blueprint, your subconscious, you believe in that, then it makes sense why so many people living out in the world are so focused on certainty and significance, or significance and certainty. And again, in order for them to experience love, those other two needs have to be met, because the top needs are the doorway, the gateway needs. It's like certainty, got to meet certainty. And if I get through that gate and I get through that door, now we're into significance. And then if you can give me just the right amount of significance, then finally I give myself freedom to experience love. And see how crazy that is you're projecting the key to the lock that's within yourself out here into the world. It's like you're holding the key to meeting your own needs, but you think that the key's out here. Somebody else has the key. It's like, I want love. I want love. I want love. I want love. Well, the love is tucked away behind your need for certainty and behind your need for significance. Why don't you just use the key that you have in your hand to give yourself the certainty, give yourself the significance, and then you would experience however much love you want. But see, most people don't do that. Most people want somebody else to come and give them the certainty, give them the significance so that you can experience love. See how powerless that is? If you have to rely on somebody else to give you certainty and give you significance so that you can experience love, you're screwed. You're powerless. It's outside of your control. And that's why so many people struggle when it comes to love and relationships. Just as an example. Because they feel powerless and hopeless and helpless, that if somebody else can't come into their life and provide them with the exact right blueprint set of needs for them to be able to experience love. Because it's not that the love that you're desiring isn't already inside of you. It's the belief that it's not inside of you. It's the belief that somebody has to give you access to the love that's already inside of you, waiting to be experienced by you. And that's another gift of spirituality, going within yourself, finding your power, finding the love, finding the certainty, finding the significance, finding the variety, finding the growth, finding the contribution, finding the connection, finding the love, finding all the things for yourself, within yourself, and then bringing that outside of yourself to share with the world. Self-actualized. right? Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. All the other information is in the description box below. And as always, my friends,
I'm not a bloody psychic.